Hey! Look at this. You know what time it is out here? I'm outside essentially in the woods, guys. It's like after midnight. Ooh, in the dark. There's literally bears out there. Literally bears. Can you believe it? But here we are. Nonetheless, welcome everybody. Welcome. I'm going to have to take these off to kill the glare. Welcome to Greenbeanjetsfan, episode 82. 82. Here we are. I'm so happy that you could be here with me. This is the first episode that I'm moving from Monday release to Wednesday release. We'll see how this goes. I'm planning to do that for the rest of the football season because it's growing increasingly difficult to record shows on a Sunday when we play games on a Sunday. Like I have to wait till after the game. It's very difficult to get it out for Monday morning, so we're going to move it to Wednesday and see how that is. Now, they won't all be dark like this. Nonetheless, no matter what happens, this is episode 82, and I'm happy that you are here. I'm so grateful that we get to do this. It's one of my favorite things to do each week, is to have this time to express ideas with you guys, kind of take an extra moment to break things down, a little bit more detail. Guys, if it's your first time ever being here, thanks for stopping by. They're not all going to look this weird, I assure you. This is a weird one. So I'm glad that you're here, but just know they look a little different. If you want to see the way they really look, go ahead and look at episode 81. That's a little bit closer to what it is. For the meantime, here we are. And guys, if you have not liked this video, I can't express to you how important that is for YouTubers. It's just very important. YouTube responds to that sort of thing. If you don't get likes, then they don't like you. That's what they said. YouTube's like, they don't like you. Why should we like you? So it really matters. If you got a second, go ahead, click that thumbs up, only if you want to. Don't feel pressured. And the other thing you can do, especially if you're new here and you're wondering, how can I see more of this guy's stuff? How can I get YouTube to let me know when this guy releases something? The way to do that is hit that subscribe button. That means the world. Now, if you're liking videos and you're subscribing and you're just like, I want more, this is not enough. Well, you know what else you can do? You can click on the link right under the video in the description that says join the Beanbaggers. That's our private exclusive club with 3 tiers of access, and there's all sorts of extras that you can get by joining the Beanbaggers. Number one, I appreciate it. It helps support the channel, and I'm grateful for that. But in addition, my hope is that it adds value to your experience as a Jets fan. One of the things that we do every month is we watch a classic Jets game. But the day that this is released, tonight, we are choosing between rewatching the Midnight Miracle together, or we're going to watch the 1991 season finale. You guys remember that game? You remember what that was like? You know, that was the Raul Alegre game where he came out of we signed a former Giants kicker from the scrap heap, and he came in and became the hero and launched the Jets into the playoffs against the Dan Marino Dolphins. And Johnny Hector was the king of the fourth quarter. He took it over. Unbelievable game. I remember it well. We'll be watching that one or the Midnight Miracle tomorrow in our private room where we get together and enjoy such things. If you're interested in that, you can join the Beanbaggers, and that is a very appreciated avenue to explore. So thank you. Now, guys, what we like to do with each episode is we like to look at the number, and we like to equate that to a player that is on the team. Little player profile. We dig in, and we like to talk about somebody with a little bit more deepness. But this week is unique. This week is particularly unique because the guy that's been wearing 82 all summer is cut. He just got cut. So what are we going to do? You can't talk about a player that's cut because I don't care about players that are cut. That's the way it is. Like I've shared with people who have been hanging out with me for a while. If you're new, I'll tell you this for the first time. I am not a typical fan. I'm old. I'm grumpy. I'm weather beaten from this damn franchise. You know, I try to be positive. I'm one of the more positive guys out here, but I'm grumpy. I'm a grumpy guy. I root for football like this. I only root for teams to win games if them winning benefits the Jets. That's it. I do not root for former Jets to do well in their new locations. I want them to fail. Now, do I want them to fail as human beings? No, of course not. I'm talking about in the NFL sphere. I am a Jets fan. I'm a grumpy Jets fan. I don't want Joe Douglas to trade Sam Darnold and watch Sam Darnold go be a Hall of Famer for the Panthers. It's not the way I roll. I want him to fail. I want Joe Douglas's move to be the right move. That's what I want. So once they're not Jets, even if I loved them in the draft like Kyle Hamilton, loved Kyle Hamilton. I was hoping the Jets took him with our second first. Not after we took Sauce, but before that. Now he's on the Ravens, dude. I can't stand Kyle Hamilton. I don't root for him. I'm done rooting for Kyle Hamilton. So that's how I do it. So now Irv Charles, the wide receiver the Jets brought over as an undrafted free agent, was cut. And he's been wearing the number 82 all preseason. Now, I've had discussions with some of you guys, and some people thought that Irv Charles was like a secret weapon waiting to explode. I've had that expressed to me. Now, Irv Charles was pretty good. He had a pretty good career. Indiana University of Pennsylvania, right? He had a kind of a spotted career, up and downs and all that stuff, but he has the measurable 6'4", 220 pounds. He's from Sicklerville, New Jersey, so he's kind of a hometown boy. But let me tell you something about Irv Charles. Irv Charles had himself a terrible preseason. Now, he redeemed himself a little bit, but he had that drop touchdown. He had like 2 drops in that game. He just didn't look well. Now, he did well in some of the joint practices. That's not going to cut it. He had a bad preseason. Now, that's unfortunate, right? You got a young guy. He's trying to make it. He's got all the measurables. You'd love to see a 6'4", 220-pound kid turn it around and like kind of make good. He didn't do that, so he got cut. I knew he was going to get cut. I didn't see too many Jets fans lobbying for him to be retained because you saw what we saw. We watched the same stuff. Now, if you're hoping for that guy, that 6'4", undrafted free agent. I mean, we happen to have one of those guys that did make the roster. You can take your hope for Irv Charles and you can slide it over to Lawrence Cager. Lawrence Cager made the roster. Can you believe it? This is a guy that Joe Douglas brought onto the team in 2020 as an undrafted free agent, 6'5". The guy has amazing hands. He's got a crazy college career. Now, he was our player profile last week, so I'm not going to get into him too much. But the problem with Lawrence Cager is that he can't stay healthy. He has not stayed healthy for more than a 4-game stretch in his entire 6 years. 4 years in college, 2 years in the NFL, a little one with the Jets. Remember, he had that chance. Everybody got hurt. Chris Hogan, everybody else. He got the chance, looked pretty good in one game. Next game, he got hurt. It's the way it goes for Lawrence Cager. So the interesting thing is he went and put on a bunch of weight, and he decided to switch positions to tight end. Now, think about it. For a guy who can't stay healthy, do you think putting him in a position with more contact is going to bode well for him? No, it doesn't sound like it. But what if adding that 30 pounds, 25, 30 pounds of muscle actually helps him stay healthy? It fortifies him. Because if you look at the pictures of Lawrence Cager in college, and even in the first year with the Jets, he's like lanky, tall, skinny, great hands, nice vertical, good contested catch, high points, all the stuff. Can't stay healthy. So the Jets taking a shot on him to make the 53 over Wesco and Yeboah, guys that have been here for a minute. Says a lot about what they think about him, and that's the other side of the Irv Charles thing. Irv Charles got the chance and blew it. Lawrence Cager got the chance and turned everybody's heads, and they couldn't ignore him. And that's the kind of stuff that we want to see. Like I said in the last Jets pod, that's the stuff we do. There's nothing I like to root for more. I love Victor Green coming on the team as an undrafted free agent. Nobody even gives a snowball's chance in hell to make the roster, and he ends up not only making the roster, but becoming somewhat of a Jets legend. Look at Wayne Corbett. That's not even somewhat of that's a damn Jets legend right there. Everybody loved. He was 11th or 12th on the depth chart at one point. The Jets haven't even reissued his number since he played for us in 2005. This is an undrafted, this is a walk-on. You got Snacks Harrison, you got Richie Anderson. It goes on and on and on. We've been able to find those guys over the years, even late round picks, sixth rounds. Fadu Kasi, Sione Puha, the Mike DeVitos of the world. It's so great to see those guys get the chance and make good, and not just make good to the bottom end of the roster, like they stay on the roster for 3, 4, 5 years. That's good too. But guys that actually break through and make an impact, that is exciting. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen with Lawrence Cager. We'll see, but I'll tell you what. I'm rooting for him, and I think if you're a Jets fan, you should too. You really should. It's the kind of guy that we want to make it, and that's a wonderful thing. So, the big thing to talk about this week, guys, is it's cut day. It's cut day. So let's get into a little cut day with the news of the week. Oh, cut day. It's an interesting thing being a Jets fan for this long. And not only a Jets fan for this long, but a Jets fan online. I was talking about it in a stream a few minutes ago. The After Hours Jets Fest, and we were talking about it. I've been online as a Jets fan since 1997. Now, most Jets fans I talked to didn't even know that existed until 2010. You know what I mean? Some guys just found it this year. Like, holy cow, there's all this Jet stuff out there. I was on message boards. I started with Yahoo. It was a chat room. We talked a little bit of Jets. And it was the hiring of Bill Parcells, that whole melee of Leon Hess kind of stealing Parcells from the Patriots and all. We had to hire Bill Belichick because Parcells was still under contract and he couldn't get out. But it was that energy that got me to seek more Jets news. I needed more than just the papers every day, going and buying the Post and the Daily News and the Star Ledger. I needed more. So I went online and I started to meet all these guys. Now, I've been an obsessive Jets fan. On the message boards, it was Rivals, then it was the Greenhouse, then it was Jetnation for the past decade and change. For a long time. And we obsess about these types of days. We like June 1st, right? We like to see who's the June 1st cuts. We like the draft, right? We look at the draft, we dissect it, and we argue with each other. You don't know what you're talking about. This guy sucks. This is the guy you want. You're an idiot. We do all that stuff. And this is another one of those days, kind of a holiday. And it's cut down day. It's after the final preseason game. The teams have to get down to 53 players. They were just at 80. So you think about that. 32 teams have to cut 27 players in a 24-hour period, pretty much. That is a major shift in what's happening in the NFL. And fans like myself, we eat it up. We love it. Yum, 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 yum. That's what we like to do. Go, who's cut? Oh, my God, I can't believe it. And one of the things that Jets fans do, and I can speak for Jets fans. I'm sure every fan base does this to an extent. I have Dolphin fans that call me, and I have Dallas fans. I got friends all over the place, and they all do the same thing. I can't believe we cut this guy. I thought he was going to be the thing. But Jets fans, being Jets fans, a little bit more intense than most, we get crazy about cut day. We have guys on the roster or on the team that we want to see make the roster that get cut, and we lose our damn marbles. And the problem with guys that get cut is that usually there's a guy that they kept instead of the guy that we wanted, and that makes it even worse. You're telling me you cut this guy for him? That guy sucks. And that's what we do. We do it every year. It's happening all day today. We were talking about it in the Beanbag Discord server just this morning, that it's kind of funny if you can remove yourself from it a little bit, from the emotions of it, and you kind of look at it from a wide lens. It's crazy. People get nuts over like Will Parks. 6 months ago, nobody knew that Will Parks was, but now he plays a couple nice plays in preseason, and we see him in a couple practices. Looks good. And now he's one of our favorite players, and I can't believe they cut him. And we get mad. And it's an interesting thing. It happens every single year. And now more and more Jets fans than ever before are in this online Jets pocket. Like years ago, it was a small band of us, maybe 50 guys. And we were like the crazies. You know what I mean? We're like the crazies. We're like recluse. We're, unshaven, eating ice cream at 2 a.m. online talking about the Jets. It was us. My wife or my girlfriend at the time said, "You're still talking 3 in the morning." I'm like, I know. I can't believe he wants to keep Vinny Testaverde over Chad Pennington. This is fucking bullshit. That's how it was. Now, there are thousands of us all over this internet thing for the Jets. So it's even worse than ever. Twitter, oh my God. Twitter has made it just, it's a whole different league what it is now. So we got these guys that get cut and people lose their minds. Now, look, I'm going to put myself out there. And most of you guys already know this about me, but for the sake of argument and conversation, we'll say it again. I happen to like LaMichael friggin' Pirine better than Ty Johnson, better than Coleman. Bam Knight is interesting. I can't say I like him more than Bam Knight. Bam Knight's exciting, especially with his special team, so I like that. But the idea that they just don't use him. Now, I will say I've dug into Michael Pirine more than most. And I get made fun of all the time. For my Michael Pirine support. They call it the Michael Pirine love. It's not love, it's support. I think he's a really good running back 3. It's the kind of guy I like. He gets cut today. Now, I could be upset. What about Kenny Yeboah? I was screaming Kenny Yeboah's name through the whole 2021 draft. We didn't take him. Then we grabbed him. He was our priority undrafted free agent. We brought him on. I got 100 messages. Green Bean, look, Kenny Yeboah. Because they know I put myself out there. He had an okay developmental rookie season. Made good. But he got cut again. He got cut last year and put on the practice squad. So seeing those guys get cut and then seeing Ty Johnson get kept, it bothers me. Because Ty Johnson to me is a liability. And this is the whole thing. I love what Ty Johnson can do with the ball in his hand. He gave us some really exciting plays last year. That's the truth of it. There were some plays that only Ty Johnson could have did it. And you like that. And I guarantee they like it too. They see that potential. But I tend to lean towards consistency as opposed to that excitement one moment and then a complete scrub the next. And I've shared this. I prefer a guy that'll be good consistently than great 1 minute and terrible the next. I prefer that. Now, some guys don't. I've had this argument many, many times. If somebody can bring you elite production, then you deal with the bad days because of what they can bring you is so rare, so elite. Not me. I get it. I hear your point. I can appreciate it. I disagree respectfully. I would rather a guy give me 4 yards a carry than 7.6 one game and 2.3 the next. That's me. 4 yards a carry wins. Every day. 4 yards a carry wins. And we get lost in the fact that that's really all you need to do. Sure, I love big plays. I love chunk plays. I love 18-yard in the air with 30-yard yak. I love it. I love a bomb 72 yards in the air. Hell yeah. But I don't like when we have to rely on that. I would rather have guys that their defense can't stop us from getting 4 yards anytime we want it. Think about this. 1st and 10, 2nd and 6, 3rd and 2, 1st and 10, 2nd and 6, 3rd and 2, 1st and 10. You do that all day, that's a 10-minute drive. Keeps your defense off the field, and you end up with a touchdown. Their offense comes out. They can't do it. Your defense does their job. 1st and 10, 2nd and 6, 3rd and 2, and on and on and on. I love it. Sprinkle in a few 10-yard passes with the tight end. Then they bring everybody up in the box. We got to stop them from getting 4 yards. They're killing us. They're embarrassing us. And what do you do then? You send Elijah Moore out to slice their throats. I like that. I would prefer that rather than Robbie Anderson. That's just me. Robbie Anderson, one game, he's like, oh my God, he's fucking one of the best receivers in the league. And then he disappears for 3 weeks and he can't block. You know what I mean? That's Ty Johnson to me. So Ty Johnson got cut. got retained, and guys like LaMichael Pirine and Tevin Coleman got cut. Now, I'll tell you, I was pretty convinced that Tevin Coleman was going to be one of the 3 running backs. I did not think they would keep 4 unless it was a fullback. They didn't keep him, and that says something. We'll get into that a little bit later in the Intelligent Gripe, which is another segment that we're going to do, but it does say something. The fact that Tevin Coleman was cut shifts my thoughts. But, what is going on here? Now, I'll admit, I'm obviously rooting for the Jets. I want every move that they make to be the right move. That's what I want. Every trade to win. I want the guys they trade for to be great, the guys they trade away to suck. I want our draft picks that we get to use them on good players. That's what I want. But I have yet to feel that warm, fuzzy confidence about Robert Saleh and his crew. I feel that way about Joe Douglas, and even though Joe Douglas picked Robert Saleh, I just don't feel, I don't have that confidence in Robert Saleh yet. Now, I'm not necessarily anti or concerned. It's not concern yet, but it's, I don't necessarily agree with that, sir. I wouldn't do it that way, quite frankly. I disagree. So they've done that. Now, there's a few moves they've done. Like, for example, last year, we were decimated at safety. We lost everybody. We were literally signing guys off of the street and starting them 4 days later. When we had a guy named Hamza Nasruddin on the team who they were trying to make a linebacker, fine, but guess what? He played college free safety for 3 years. He was a college safety for 3 years and at a high level. Isn't that a better move than signing Sheldrick Redwine and letting him get burned? Isn't that a better move than bringing on Elijah Riley from the practice squad of the Eagles and just, he's running around like a maniac, like he's Rudy? And he has a really good game and then he's gone. He gets exposed. So with moves like that, I know maybe there are reasons, and I don't have all the information, you know that, but I still scratch my head. So I don't have the confidence yet in Robert Saleh. So a lot of these moves, I wonder where the wisdom is, right? Now, somebody asked us in the Talking Jets panel earlier tonight with Ryan, Matt O'Leary, and Jake Asman was with us today on the Talking Jets, on Jets Talk 24/7's channel. They asked us, who do you think has final say with the roster? And I want you to know this. I know this to the core of my being. Joe Douglas has final say on the roster. He's the boss. He has final say on every single decision. But that doesn't mean that Robert Saleh doesn't have a very, very powerful impact. Now, Robert Saleh could lobby for a player and say, I really like him, and Joe Douglas could say, sorry, you're beat. I ain't keeping him. He costs too much. He doesn't give me enough. I'm not keeping. He can. But is that really a symbiotic relationship? Is that conducive to success? Look at it the other way. Robert Saleh doesn't want somebody, let's say like a Denzel Mims. Joe Douglas picked Denzel Mims. He believes in Denzel Mims. He loves Denzel Mims, blah, blah, blah. He wants Saleh to give him a chance. Saleh doesn't like him. He doesn't like his face. He doesn't like his haircut. He doesn't like the way he wears his shoes, whatever. Says he's stupid, whatever it is. The talent no longer matters. Robert Saleh doesn't like him. He's not going to use him. He would rather use the roster spot on Jeff Smith, who can play special teams. Now, Joe Douglas sits down and says, hey, I get it, but you got to give him a chance. Give him a year and see what it does. That year, he gets food poisoning, loses 20 pounds, he gets COVID, he gets penalties, he looks terrible. So now Robert Saleh says, Joe, I don't want him. Now, again, this is hypothetical. I'm telling you, I gave him a year. I did what you asked. I can't use this guy. I know he's 6'3". I know he runs 4.4. I'm with you. I don't like him. On my team, I can't use him. He's just going to sit there and rot and wide receiver 6. He can't play specials. Is Joe Douglas a good GM if he says, I'm sorry, you're keeping him? Or is he a good GM by saying, okay, well, my coach can't use this guy, even though I like him. My coach can't use him. I have to give my coach everything that he needs to win and not hamstring him with dead weight that he's not going to. So it would behoove Joe Douglas to get rid of a guy like Denzel Mims and get Robert Saleh, a guy that he could use. So even though Joe Douglas has final say, Robert Saleh has plenty of impact. And that's where, when you look at the cuts, you have to wonder, why? Why this guy and not that guy? So let's take a quick look. We got guys like let's look at the cornerbacks. Interesting group. Last year, some of these guys were the heroes. We had Javelin Guidry. Remember Javelin Guidry? Undrafted free agent 2020. Very small, kind of a poor tackler. Last year, he has that solo tackle against Derrick Henry in the middle of the day. It was like, whoa, wait a second. And he had some good plays. Now, he got exposed a lot, too. In my opinion, Ulbricht put him in bad situations, quite frankly. I think they misused him. But I thought Javelin Guidry, who I'm not really a big fan of, I thought he was at least a decent reserve nickel. They cut him. Now, why? They also cut Isaiah Dunn. I remember everybody loved Isaiah Dunn last year. He's gone. Rashad Wildgoose. Who didn't like saying that? Now he's gone too. So when you look at these guys, it's like, okay, well, who's our reserve nickelback now? Who's covering the slot? I don't know. There is nobody. Now we have guys that can play safety, that can also play nickel. So maybe that's where the value is. Now they want to keep, let's use tight end as an example. They really want to keep 4 tight ends from Mike LaFleur's offense. He's going to run a lot of 12, a lot of 22 personnel packages. So he needs tight ends. He needs to have at least a rotation of tight ends. They can't do that if they keep a reserve for Michael Carter II, who's our starting nickelback. They can't do it. They look at Guidry and they go, all he can really do for us is be that. But Tony Adams can play safety and can play nickelback well. So now his value goes up. What about LaMarcus Joyner? LaMarcus Joyner, as we know, played in the Raiders defense for 2 years, that position. So he's here as a safety, but we know in a pinch he could do that too. So we have a few guys, Ashton Davis, who a lot of people are wondering how he made it through cuts. He can also double in that position. So when you look at that, those players, their value increases because they can play 2. Now, maybe they're not as good at the 1, maybe, but when you're trying to build a team, you have to make those concessions. And that's the stuff that fans tend to not really be able to look at, and myself included. We tend to have difficulty there. Well, dude, what does it matter? He sucks. But the Jets see something different. He can actually fill 2 roles at an average level, and this guy is only average at 1. So we're going to take the guy who can fill 2. And therefore, now we can keep 4 running backs and 4 tight ends, which is what we need. Now we don't lose Lawrence Cager and we don't lose Bam Knight. See what I mean? If they kept Javelin Guidry, maybe we don't get Bam Knight. And that's the stuff. This is what we don't have to deal with. This is where Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh have to sit there, rack their brains, and go, dude, we got to cut him. It sucks. Now, the hope is that they can make it through waiver cuts, which is today as you're watching this. Make it through the waiver claim period, and they can be slipped back into our practice squad. 16 people make it to the practice squad these days, 6 of which can be vets of any experience. They could be 10-year vets or whatever. That was not always the case. In 2020, they changed those rules. In my opinion, I hope they never go back. This is much better. This gives the teams the capability of keeping a few more players that they believe in, that they think are beneficial to the team. It sucks to lose some of these guys. But let's go down a little bit. The defensive line. Now, Robert Saleh is on record as saying He thinks every single person, every player in our defensive line rotation for the preseason, he says every one of those guys can make a 53-man roster somewhere. I believe that. That's what he said. Now, clearly, they can't all make our 53-man roster. You can't have 16 defensive linemen. Now, a lot of people, we were talking to Joe Blewett from JetX last week on the Thursday Thick of It. He said that he thinks the Jets are going to keep 11. I was leaning towards 10. Say they're going to keep 10 defensive linemen. Well, the first cut day comes down, they're keeping 11. But they let go of some guys that a lot of us thought might make it. Bradley and I had a very good preseason. Exhibited traits that not all of our defensive ends have. He has true speed. So he did well. Now, Jabari Zuniga had himself a sack for the first time. Jabari Zuniga's thing is health. He's a third-round pick 3 years ago. Joe Douglas, you would think if he's going to keep his own guys, Zuniga's on the list. Give him his third year. Nope, he's gone too. What about Tanzel Smart? He was the hero of preseason game 1. He had 2 sacks and all kinds of pressures and tackles for loss. Nope. What about our 6th-round pick last year? Jonathan Marshall with a perfect 10 RAS score. Athleticism through the roof. Nope. He's out. So when you look at these guys, you go, huh. And Nathan Shepard made it? And Sheldon Rankins made it? What have these guys done that warrant pushing young talent like a Bradley and I, like a Tanzel Smart, like a Jonathan Marshall off the roster? What are they giving us that warrants this decision? Now, again, I don't have full confidence in the decision-making of our coaching staff. I just don't. Again, I'm not saying that they're wrong. I see some things that cause me concern, okay? When you look at the defensive line, what could they be thinking by keeping Nathan Shepard and Sheldon Rankins as opposed to Tanzel Smart and Jonathan Marshall? Because those are to be the inside guys there. They also let Zuniga and Anai are going to be ends. So let them go. So what about it? What about it? What are they seeing here? Well, Nathan Shepard happens to be one of the only guys in that defensive line rotation whose skill set leans towards plugging the gaps and being a run stuffer. Just saying. That's what he is. Sheldon Rankins happens to have a full resume of solid impact in the NFL for the Saints. Now, he was disappointing last year, but they brought him in for 2 years, and they clearly like him. They brought him here to play. So when you got a guy like Tanzel Smart, who's journeyman, he's only second year in the league or so, second or third, but he's a journeyman. He's an undrafted free agent, just bounced around. Does it warrant pushing a guy that you already know can compete in the NFL regular season? Does it warrant pushing him off for what Tanzel Smart did in the preseason? Now, you got to understand, it's probably the smarter move to keep Sheldon Rankins. Probably. Now, we don't know what's going to happen today. Joe Douglas might grab 8 guys from waivers, and there's Nathan Shepard, Ty Johnson, Sheldon Rankins. They're all gone. Okay, so this could be a different discussion. But for right this moment, this is the stuff that you have to think. Now, I happen to think Nathan Shepard is not very good at that skill set that he leans toward. So how beneficial is it to keep him? I don't know. But these are the types of things that we as fans maybe don't think about as much. We just like our guy. Figure it out. It's like when you got the contracts, you know. How come every team signs whoever they want and our guy, figure it out, just sign. We don't have the money. We don't have it. We have $6 million left on the cap, and he wants $15 million. I can't sign him. Get creative. And okay, you got to pay it at some point. You know, Joe Douglas coming in here, he's trying to undo all those knots for this friggin' organization, right? So we just want the guys we want. We're fans. Now, some consider things that others don't, of course. But overall, we're fans. So we're going to look at this through a certain lens and go, that's bullshit. Why isn't Wild Goose still on this damn team? Wild Goose! So why not? And it's like, and it goes on and on and on like that. Hamza Nasruddin was a 6th round pick last year. You got Jonathan Marshall, 6th round pick. Hamza Nasruddin, 6th round pick. Maybe Nasruddin's a 5th round pick. One or the other. I think he's a 6th. But how about the offensive line? Now, well, look at what we did. We cut Connor McDermott, Chuma Edoga. We cut the tackles. All we're left with as a backup tackle today is Max Mitchell, our 6th round pick. Our 4th round pick this year. Now that is freaking scary. We have George Fant, who was injured last year. Dwayne Brown, who was injured, just coming on the team. And we have Max Mitchell. That's it. Now, my belief is that they are going to bring on, they see somebody that was cut and they like him. The Jets are 4th on the waiver claim order, and we're going to grab them. Maybe they have that. Now, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But right now, if you're a Jets fan, you could look at that list and go, this is madness. And even if I don't like Connor McDermott that much, or I don't like Chuma Edoga that much, you have to have another tackle. You have to. Now, maybe they don't. Maybe they like the idea. Listen, let's look at this potential. So we only keep 3 tackles. We have the 2 starters and a swing. Max Mitchell, they say you're going to back up left and right. Let's say there's an emergency. Don't forget, AVT played tackle in college. He can be moved over and play tackle. Now, maybe they think that AVT at tackle and Nate Herbig at guard is a better scenario than AVT at guard and Chuma Edoga at tackle. And if that's the case, then there's logic there. Do you see? Because now you're not clogging up the roster with a guy you don't like when you already have another guy who can play both, and you know the guy backfilling where AVT would leave from, you happen to like a great deal. They like Nate Herbig. And there were some videos that came out this week about Nate Herbig's blood. Dude, he's an animal. They like him. He might even be starting potential for them. So maybe they have designs on AVT slide. No, who knows? So that's the kind of stuff that, again, we're not necessarily thinking of. Now, is it smart? I don't know. Would it be better to bring in a tackle? In my opinion, yes. But maybe they don't think that way, and they're ready to roll the dice because they like the backfill job that Nate Herbig can provide. And AVT, they trust him at tackle because he's so incredibly versatile and talented. And they love it. They saw him play tackle in college. They have no issue. And maybe that's better than Connor McDermott coming in all wide-eyed and getting beat up at the tackle position. Maybe that's what they're doing. And again, there's value in that thinking. There's value. Now you also have the tight ends, of course. We talked about Trevon Wesco and Kenny Yeboah. That's interesting. It's interesting to me. I'm of the belief that they will absolutely bring in at least one of those guys for the practice squad if they clear waivers, because Cager's issue is health. It's health, guys. So they're going to give him his full shot. Cager, you're in. You look great. You got it. You got your spot. We're going to use you sparingly. If you can stay healthy, the position's yours. But if he's not, Yeboah's coming back. That's probably what's happening. And I get it. While I prefer Yeboah over Cager at the current moment, I get that logic and I like it. I like the thinking. Don't necessarily agree, but I can appreciate it and I like it. And that's the thing. So, it's interesting, guys. Again, waiver claims are a fascinating part of the season. Now, the guy who kind of made it from last year's period of this for the Jets is Quincy Williams. That's when we grabbed him. And we grabbed a couple other guys. But Quincy Williams is the guy that we brought on during this period who made it. Now, how much they're going to use him, I thought Quan Alexander looks like a better option to me. But who knows? They really like Quincy Williams. And he's had some great moments for us. This will be his second year in the system. Maybe he's ready to be shot out of a cannon. But he made good as far as a scrap heap pickup. He looks good. So maybe we can find that guy this time. Again, maybe we can find that guy that they liked in the draft 2 years ago. Leatherwood, Alec Lindstrom got cut from Dallas. All kinds of guys, man. They're all over the place. Guys that we were all talking about leading up to the draft and all our mocks, they're out there right now. Nick Eubanks. I love Nick Eubanks. Why don't anybody keep him? I don't get it. I really don't get it. I think he's fantastic. But they know better than me. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. One thing I can say, Jets fans, is not to get too crazy. Because 9 times out of 10, the guy that we let go, that we were all up in arms about, 9 times out of 10, they leave and they fizzle elsewhere. They don't do anything. So this truly is the bottom end of the roster. And at some point, the Jets, if we're going to be a good team, we have to cut good players. You have to. For now, we've been the team that poaches those players from other. We try to snatch their scraps. Oh my God, he threw out a whole steak. You know what I mean? It's that. That's who we are. Oh my God, the guy threw out a whole Big Mac. He didn't even take a bite. Yeah! That's what we are. Now we're hoping to be the guys buying too many White Castles and throwing a couple out. That's what we're hoping to be. We're full. We have all the White Castles we need. I don't need those 2. That's what we're hoping to be. Right now, up to this point, we've been the other side of it. We're the guy waiting for the bag. Yeah, I'll take that. I love a good White Castle. That's what we're trying to do. So let's see. Let's see what happens. It's going to be interesting. And with some more to talk about. But that is the news of the week. So, yeah, man, cut down day. It's an interesting day. Now, guys, like I shared with you, maybe I'm a little bit numb. I don't feel it this year. Last year, I was very upset about a few of these. This year, I'm not as upset. And you know why? Because of this thing I'm wearing. Now, I had a tough week. I had a tough week of loss. Loss, true loss, like heart loss. Now, I'll tell the story quickly. I told it on the panel. I told it on the After Hours Jets Fest. But I'm going to tell you right now, this hat right here. Number one, it's the hat on the Green Bean logo. This is it. This is the one that my buddy drew. He drew me, with this hat. See, the Jets. I bought this hat the day after Bill Parcells in 1998 changed the uniform from the 90s logo to the old Jets logo, but with the updated old original logo. I went to the Willowbrook Mall in Wayne, New Jersey the next day, and I bought this hat from the hat store, Lids or whatever it was. And I've been wearing it ever since. This has been predominantly my main Jets hat for 24 years. I clean it. I take care of it. The whole thing. I hang it. This morning, I had a dog here. Listen to this. I had a dog here that's from Baltimore. I swear. My sister-in-law was in town. She brought her dog. She's from Baltimore City. That's where they live. So the dog is Baltimorean. He comes here, or she comes here, and out of nowhere, I've had this hat for 24 years. I have a Baltimore dog in the house. I left this hat on my kitchen table when I drove my son to school this morning. I come back, and the hat's on the floor, chewed from the kitchen table. So that Baltimorean dog climbed on my table to eat my hat. You think I can't see what's going on here? What are you talking about? Baltimore's our week 1 opponent. I know them. I see the message. I got you, Baltimoreans. You think I don't see you sent this devil dog down here to chew up my 24-year lovely hat? I'm not happy about it. So I'm sad. I'm sad. Now I'm still wearing it. I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't wear this hat out. Look at this thing. It's like shredded wheat. It's good enough to do this for this one show with you guys. I can't even do that. I like to do that. Slap my hat. My hat slapper. Slap. I like that. But listen, look at this bill. They don't make hats. This is a Reebok hat, man. They don't make hats like this anymore. New era, with all due respect. They're fine. 59, 50, whatever. Hats. I think I wear a 47er. a new era. I don't know, but this thing is legit. It made it 24 years without even a tear. Fucking Baltimore dog. Yeah. So I had that, but the other thing, guys, you guys know the truck in the beginning of the logo? In the beginning of the intro for the show? I drove that truck for the last 3 years. It's 78,000 miles in 2.5 years. Me and my family put on that truck, traveling the country, living in an RV. And I sold it this week because I don't need it. I don't need a diesel truck, and it's silly to drive. Diesel's $1 more a gallon. Oil changes are $189, $200. Everything's more expensive on it. DEF fluid, it just costs thousands of dollars a month to run. I get 18 miles to the gallon. You know what I mean? So I just can't do it. But dude, watching it, a guy drove down from Battle Creek, Michigan and bought my truck. He sat here for a week waiting for the money to clear and the banks and all that stuff. He sat in this town for a week. Why? Because that truck was badass. And he knew it. He texted me when he left. He said, "It took 5 hours. This truck is the best truck ever." I said, "I know. Leave me alone. Get out of here with that." So I'm sad, guys. It's like a new era. Now, my hope is that I'm shedding a lot of old Jets garbage. That's what I'm hoping. I'm doing this for us. That's what I hope. I don't know. I'm still having a hard day. So losing LaMichael Pirine today, not so bad. You get it? You see what I'm saying? So anyway, let's see this thing. So anyway, let's ride that one right into the intelligent gripe. So, as I was talking before, I don't have confidence in Robert Saleh just yet. The way he answers some questions make me scratch my head. The way he's chosen to deal with certain situations have made me scratch my head. Some of the in-game stuff. Now, he's a rookie coach last year, so I'm totally on board with that. You know, you got to give guys time to make mistakes. You can't hire somebody, put them in a high-level position for the first time, and not expect mistakes. That's silliness. Now, every now and then, a Sean McVay will roll down the stream, and you get a guy who doesn't make mistakes. Okay, great. Most, they're going to make mistakes. You hire a guy who's never done the job. You're saying, "I'm going to weather your mistakes with you because I believe in the potential. I believe in what you have to flourish into. So I'm going to weather the mistakes." So I'm not throwing him under the bus for a lot of the silly mistakes he made last year. That said, there are some of the larger scale things like not giving Zach Wilson the offense piecemeal, letting him build confidence. That's the way I think a tiered approach should have been the way. They chose to give him the entire offense. They put the whole book on the table. They said, "Learn it. We can throw a play from anywhere in that book out in the middle of a game at any point. You need to know it." Now, I understand that thought process. I don't agree with it, but I wonder where the wisdom is with that. Now, maybe Zach's the type of person, that's how he's going to respond to. Great. Me, I think he was probably overwhelmed. His head was spinning, and we saw the results. Now, maybe this year we'll reap the benefits of that. That's my hope. But again, there's lots of little things that I don't really appreciate. I don't really agree with. But I'm out here. That said, I want to point something out to you. One of the things that I like most about football is the will to succeed. I love it. Now, I don't necessarily have it like these guys do, that like 18 hours of working to get the one step faster. I don't have that. I've never been quite the gym rat. I've had my phases, but I'm just not that guy. I work hard, I do other, but I don't have that. These guys do. I love when coaches choose to reward that. And a better way to say that is I love coaches that can identify the X factor. That's what I like. It's my favorite thing about football. Momentum shifts, intangibles, quarterbacks that sense a guy running from behind him. They don't know why they know he's there. I like that. I love the intangible assets that players can bring. Like I talked about before, one guy's a winner, one guy's not. This guy's 6'4", 235 pounds, rocket arm, perfect wonder lick. He's got everything. For some reason, he sucks. He just can't do it. He's Danny Ainge. This guy is 5'10" and a half, 197 pounds, and he's lighting there. He's not even fast. He's just lighting everybody up. Why? Drew Brees. Why? Now, work ethic has something to do with it, but underneath all that, there's something else. Now, we haven't figured out what that is. Like I said in the After Hours Jet, there's a scientist out there working on that right now. What is it? If they can identify it in the brain, they're going to extract it. Oh, there it is, the X factor. Ooh, they're going to pull it out. They're going to mass produce it, and we're all going to get addicted to it. They're going to be snorting it or something. It'll be the next thing we have rehabs for. They're trying to figure that out. But up to this point, they don't know what it is. I love coaches and GMs, for that matter, that can see that in somebody, in Wayne Chrebet, in Danny Woodhead, in Julian Edelman, in Wes Welker, Cooper Kupp. Even like I thought maybe Greg Dortch. Remember Greg Dortch at a Wake Forest? Ooh, maybe that little guy. Maybe that little tiny 5'7" guy. No, it didn't happen. I love coaches that can find that. And something happened today with our cut downs that made me think that maybe, just maybe, this staff can do that. Now, maybe they can't, but they're at least taking the swing. And here's where it is. There are draft picks that Joe Douglas has brought on. And let's look at the ones from this regime, not the Adam Gase years. The 2020 draft class is a different thing. 2021, 2022 draft classes. That's Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas and company. We saw on cutdown day, we saw them get rid of guys that they drafted or free agents that they've brought in that have been their guys for years. We saw them actually get rid of the more secure things, or the guys with the pedigree, their draft picks that they've used resources to acquire. We saw them let those guys go for guys that were unheralded, let's say. One we talked about earlier, Bam Knight. Dude, they got rid of a fourth-round pick. Now, he was a 2020 draft class, but he was a fourth-round pick, LaMichael Pirine, and Tevin Coleman, who this is the third team that this regime, the Mike LaFleurs, the Salahs, the Bentons, this is the third time that he's been with Mike LaFleur and company in the NFL. They used him last year. He's their vet. They trust him. They love him. They know what he's going to give him. He had a good preseason. They let him go for an undrafted free agent named Bam Knight, who had himself a damn good preseason. Just did it. Did everything you wanted to see him do. Got himself a hard-working touchdown, showed his prowess on special teams. They let their guy go for Bam Knight. Now let's look at defensive backs. Let's look at the safety position. They used a fourth-round pick in 2021 on Jason Pinnock. They tried every way that they could to make Jason Pinnock into the starting free safety on this defense. No matter what they did, he didn't do well enough. Now, he's a draft pick, and they invested their time and everything into him. Tony Adams came on the team. They look at him. He can play defensive back. He can play nickelback. He can play safety. Robert Saleh went out there and said, I thought there's no way that I was going to be able to get him back on the practice. He wasn't going to clear waivers, so I kept him. They chose to keep completely unheralded Tony Adams over their own fourth-round pick. Don't forget, Adam Michael Carter II, Brandon Echols, he was the first defensive back they took in that draft. Jason Pinnock, they cut him today. And that was 1 year ago. A fourth-round pick. They cut him for Tony Adams. And they even cut other guys that they like. Will Parks, Rashid Wildgoose. They cut these guys for Tony Adams, essentially. That, to me, says something very, very important about this staff. While I've already expressed to you, I don't have the confidence yet in them, I have respect for what. Now, I hope it works. I hope the guys that they're taking these swings on do have that little bit of an X factor. They are the diamonds in the rough. I hope that is the case because it's the right way to build a team. You don't keep guys that are losers like a Ja'Kai Polite that are never going to do anything because you used a third-round pick on them, and you let good young talent friggin' slide out the door all because of your pride. You don't do that. That is a mistake. The best GMs, the best coaches know when it's done. They know the guy. He was unheralded. He's not even a draft pick, but that guy's got something. I'm keeping him over the third-round pick because this guy's going to be better. I'll bet my career on it. That's what they did. That's what I love. That's what I respect. And that is the intelligent gripe. So, what do you think? Nighttime? Jets pods at night? What do you think? I got the Bud Zapper lights on. I got all kinds of fun stuff. Here we are nonetheless. I'm glad we were able to get through this one. I hope you're enjoying cut day. I hope it wasn't too hard on you. I know it wasn't as hard on you as it was on me. I lost my damn hat in my truck. Okay? Did anybody else out there lose their 24-year-old hat and their truck this week? It's all good. We're going to be fine. Let's see what Joe Douglas and company are able to pull out the rest of this week. It's going to be good. This is the year that the Jets turn it around, guys. This is the year we were going to look back on and say that's when we turned. Maybe it's not the year we get to the Super Bowl, but it's the year that we turned and went a different direction. That's what we're looking at, and this is going to be fun. Guys, I appreciate you hanging out with me. I'm always glad when you're here. Take that and run with the rest of the week and have yourself a good one. And don't forget, you're just a Jets fan. You deserve love too.